Hello, everyone. Get my headphones on. Hopefully, I'm coming through. Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday mic check. It's going to be me solo again. Rajiv is on assignment, as we say here at Irenicast. So hopefully, I'm broadcasting to all the right locations. Hope everyone's week has been going well. Sorry, I have a new angle that I'm working with this week. So I probably waited a little too long to get all this stuff set up. So I just want to make sure that all things are in a row and we're good to go. Um, yeah. So this is the other view of my usual setup. Nothing wrong with experimenting a little bit, right? Welcome everyone who's joining the stream. Don't forget to say hello. Let me know if you're here. Just say hi in the comments. And then if there's any problem with the audio or anything like that, let me know as well. I had to rearrange some stuff to get to this different angle. So want to make sure that we are all good. Would help if I brought the comments up. This is always the worst part about this Facebook Live stuff. It's because number one, you're on a delay. Number two, the whole like starting off to sometimes no one, sometimes a few people. I know many of you are probably catching the replay as we do these Sunday mic checks. Um, so welcome. Hope everyone had a chance to listen to the latest episode and as well as our post conversation, our continuing conversation on that particular episode. We had a good time putting those things together. We probably should have announced on the website that there was no Thoughtful Thursday this week. Casey was enjoying a long and well-deserved vacation just from everything. He's a hustler, so in a good way. Like he just moves and connects people and does all kinds of great things. And hopefully he had a great rest this week. And hopefully you all are anticipating greatly next week's Thoughtful Thursday. So again, welcome to the Sunday mic check. We're kind of figuring all this stuff out. We hope so far you've enjoyed the Facebook Live and YouTube Live offerings that we've been providing. We're kind of playing it by ear ourselves here, but we really enjoy what we do here at the show. We really especially enjoy the feedback that we get. Shannon, good morning to you. Thank you for popping in. How are you today? Hopefully everything is going well with you. Sorry, you ever have those mornings where you kind of like everything is just a little last minute? But I made it on time, 10 a.m. Somewhat of a stickler for that, sometimes to my detriment, for sure. Um, but yeah, it's been one of those weeks. I don't know about everyone else, but the weeks and the days seem to be kind of running together in sometimes a good way and sometimes just like a ugh, need to go. We're getting ready to pop on to virtual church with Pastor Casey. Oh, nice. Well, tell Casey I said hello. Casey's doing a great job over there. So yeah, Casey's doing the live church thing. Alan's doing the live church thing, uh, which is why I started the Sunday thing because Irenicast is my church. Yeah, so the weeks kind of they've been running together a little bit. So I mean, really, we end up sitting down and talking to people, and sometimes it's just what you've been watching, what you've been reading, what you've been listening to, how are you coping, how are you doing things. So yeah, I just been working and doing all that stuff. I've been rewatching Community. I don't know how many of you are fans of that particular show, but that has been fun. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. I miss my co-host Rajiv, like I said in the beginning, on assignment this morning, doing his Rajiv thing, whatever that is. I don't know. A little loopy this morning. All right, well, slow start. Sorry, almost tripped on a cable and knocked this whole rig over to the side. So, anyone out there listening have any? Man, this new setup is a little wobbly. I got this tray that attaches to the tripod for my camera. So I put my laptop on it. Usually I'm running from this computer over here, so everything's stable. And I usually have uh, the camera mounted on like a more just a tabletop tripod, so everything's secure. And I don't like breaking my stuff, so this tray is attached to a sturdier thing, and I put my laptop on it, and then I had to put a binder on top to raise it up because it's got these little lips. I know you all care so much about this. But so the cables won't plug in if I don't lift it up a little bit. And it's funny because I'm actually lifting it up on the first thing I can find, and it is my old worship binder from when I was a youth pastor. Now over a decade ago. Oh, geez, sounds weird to say. So it's sitting on there, and now I have this strange reminder of my days as a youth pastor on top of this binder. Is that symbolic? That this work is that work laid the foundation. Sorry, thinking too much into it. Alan, once again joining us from the other side. Tell us podcast tips. What kind? Like if you want to start your own, or if you just are a listener, and what the best app to use is. A lot of listeners have their own podcasts. Do they? Tell us if you got work that you're doing. Let us know. We would love to know about it. I'm always looking for a new podcast to listen to. I only have 80 on my queue right now, and I'm being sarcastic. Like I'm always looking for more. So yeah. So this is the new, not new angle. I might go back to the other one because it's a lot easier and it makes me less nervous than this. You see that? I'm good. If you do have your own podcast, as Alan is saying here, let us know. Let us know what you do. Like this Sunday mic check can be anything. So if you have work that you'd like to let people know in the chat about, let us know. We're all about sharing here at Irenicast. Alan, my true audience of one. Really slow start this morning. I don't know. When we started this podcast, like just getting used to hearing my own voice on a regular basis. And now that we've been doing this Facebook Live thing, like getting used to seeing my face on camera, which I've always been pretty adverse to, jumping in front of a camera when everyone says, "Hey, let's take a picture." I usually try to get out of the way. Ooh, see, there we go again. Alan will always be my audience. Aw, thanks, Alan. But in recent years, especially since I guess since my daughters were born. I don't like saying that because it's kind of cliche, like the whole parent thing. Like, well, then that changed everything. But I was already headed down this path. So, but I'm trying to be more relaxed and less protective of my image, trying to curate less. Although that doesn't do a good job. But just being in front of camera, it's something to get used to. So Rajiv is usually my safety blanket. So when I come on here live, and then the last time I did this solo, it did not work out very well because I was broadcasting literally to no one. So for those of you that are here, thank you so much for being here. How's everyone's week? I don't know how long Alan sticks around because I know that he's got church stuff going on too, but the pandemic made us all go visual and post stuff online. It's definitely was a vulnerable hurdle for me. Yeah, for sure. It's tough. Cheers for authenticity. You know, it's funny that you say that, Alan, because I've been playing around with some show note ideas for an episode on authenticity because I think it's an interesting concept. You know, like sometimes we value authenticity too much, and then other times not enough. So I don't know. I'm just playing out some thoughts with that. Shannon, yeah, a lot of people have decided to show our face digitally since shelter in place. It's true, and it takes some getting used to. My wife does this on a regular basis, like so. I've taken a lot of tips from her in terms of how to maneuver the camera and really making a concerted effort to like look right there into the camera instead of just down at the computer. Oh wow, Rich watching from New York's. Don't know how to pronounce that, but the mountains. So thank you for joining us. That's awesome. So crazy that we have. I know that we have like audience members from all over the place. Like I think we take for granted sometimes that we're all in California and we just, you know, I guess you get used to just talking about the place that you live and taking for granted that everyone is there, but they're not. So Shannon, now we'll have these memories recorded. Yes, that's true. And some days I wonder that's a good thing. But I think it is overall. I think it is. Is this okay? Yeah. I remember when Facebook first started, I liked how they had the whole timeline thing because kind of when I grew up, I didn't have my parents didn't take a lot of pictures. Like I literally have like maybe 6 pictures of myself when I was a kid, and then just a couple more from other family. And I just love the idea of a timeline. Like I love the idea that when my kids grow up, that they can know about who I was, even though it's embarrassing sometimes. But I love that timeline feature is there, although it kind of slowly dwindles away and becomes less and less the point of Facebook as it goes on, which I have a mostly a hate relationship with Facebook, but here we are. This is where we're at. But yeah, I do appreciate that the memories are stored because there's a lot that I would have liked to seen and learned about my family as I was growing up and what my mom and my parents like when they were kids, and I don't have any of that. It's so to be able to provide that and be transparent about that with my kids is going to be something that becomes increasingly more important as they grow up and kind of understand the concept of time and oh, you used to be this age as opposed to just perpetually seeing us right now. Right, Shannon. Yeah, now our kids have 1,000 photos of every single birthday party. That is 100% true, and I am way guilty of that. In fact, every year on my daughter's birthday, I put together like a compilation video of their year. It's so much footage and photos to like filter through every year, so I have to like piece it at a time, a little bit every month. But at least it's somewhat curated as opposed to all these files that I have on my computer pictures, and I wonder how many I'll really end up ever looking at, or whether they'll just sit on some hard drive forever. And just pull them out when I'm feeling sad or nostalgic or happy, I guess. But I don't know. In my experience, don't you tend to like more go towards those photo albums and stuff when you're remembering or I don't know. I've revealed too much of my inner psyche on this one. Yeah, but it's an interesting thing, like how much of this stuff's going to survive, and not just speaking social media wise, but just speaking like the accessibility they have for images. Like I found a roll a film from a trip that I took a few months ago. I was like, can you even get this developed? Does it even last that long? And how precious like those, like, oh, I only have 24 photos to take, so I need to make sure that they're good, and how much stuff was just thrown away. So I don't know. It's good and bad, I guess. But I did take a, now I'm just following a stream of consciousness. So please feel free to jump in. But at one point I took my wife and I, after we left the last church that we were on staff at, while we were even in the evangelical world, we went to the community college and we took a photo class, and because we had just gotten some digital cameras, and I was looking forward to it, but for some reason at this community college they made you take like regular photography before you could take digital photography. So we had to do the whole, like, was it the dark room thing? So we had to borrow a couple film cameras from someone and go through the whole process of like taking it and then going into the dark room and like exposing certain parts of the film and stuff like that. And my wife loved every minute of it. It was just the process for her. It was really enriching for her. And for me, it was the most frustrating thing in the whole entire world. I'm like, I've just been in this dark room for 2 hours to do something that I could have done in like 10 seconds with a slider on Photoshop. So we had very different experiences with that particular class. And she loved it, and I not so much. But then there's other things that I like, the long, meticulous, like my coffee routine in the morning is a little bit ridiculous. You know, like I measure out the beans to the gram and get the exact right temperature for my water. Like it's this very slow, long process, but I love it. But you know, not everyone else would love that. They just want the instant thing. So there's certain things that I want instant gratification, and then other things not so much. Yeah, Shannon, imagine how interesting it will be to study this time period as a future historian. We have so many photos to leave behind. It's true. A lot of information to filter through. And not just the photos, but like the words. Like, could you imagine being that research assistant in 20 years at a college or whatever that has to research a paper on some phenomenon, and you have to like scroll through so many ridiculous like posts to kind of get a gauge of where the people were? Because it's really interesting. Like looking back on it, like when we learn history, we learn about the people who wrote the history and they're talking about it. But this might be the first time in history, you know, outside of the journal entries that we might have found from people's random journals or whatever. But that was always representative of like a very specific slice of society, you know, like particularly educated people of privilege and all that kind of stuff. But now to filter through, like to have a much more general consensus of where the population was during some of these events in history, it's going to be really interesting to see how history adapts to all that. So yeah, that's really interesting. See, these are our Sunday mic check musings. Yeah, so I wonder how that is going to go as the years go by. Assuming all of it still survives and we don't have like an EMP blast that knocks out all the. Sorry, I was watching too many action movies yesterday while I was doing the laundry. Finally got caught up on. For some reason, it ended up being an accidental Will Smith marathon. I watched Gemini Man and then Bad Boys 3. So yeah, I don't know. How about everyone else? Anything good? Any recommendations any of you have for stuff to read or listen to or watch? I'm always looking for new things. Like I said, I've been re-watching Community. Haven't done much reading during the quarantine. I don't know why that is. I mean, I'm usually not. I'm in a read, but not a big reader. Like I'd rather watch something first or listen to a podcast or whatever. But I've fallen behind on those too because usually I do that during my commute or whatever. But I found some time. I'm cleaning up or, you know, setting stuff up for this to listen to something. Just a reminder, sometimes the comments don't go through all the way, so I'm not ignoring you. If you said something it didn't come through, these things are a bit touchy sometimes. Thank you all for that are here watching and spending at least a part of your Sunday listening to me just ramble on for a few minutes. So we'll be on for a few more minutes, see how it goes, and then don't forget that Thursday, Casey will be back with his Thoughtful Thursday. And then the following Monday, we'll be talking about our episode that's actually going to be releasing on Tuesday. It'll be our third part in our truth series. So this time we're talking about our sources of truth. Where do we get our truth and where does it come from? So, and then we're going to be wrapping up the series with the idea of changing truths. How do we maneuver through truth changes in our lives? What we consider true or what we used to consider true. So a lot of really good stuff. And we're going to keep continuing the conversations at least through the truth series, and then we're going to kind of reevaluate. And then as you know, the whole quarantine thing develops across the country, we're going to kind of reevaluate what we're going to do with the Sunday Mic Check. And yeah, so Rich, thank you. During quarantine, I've been walking a lot and listening to podcasts. That's how I found you guys. Well, thank you. Welcome to the show. Thank you for finding us. That's great. Yeah, I wish I'd be doing a lot of more walking, but I end up getting stuck in the house more, which is sad because I live in a really beautiful area. I'd like to do more of that. Rich, well, welcome to Irenicast. Thank you so much for listening and finding us. I'm curious. I always ask this when people write into the show or whatever, but how do you listen? Do you Android, Apple? Do you have a particular app that you use for your podcasts? I'm always trying to look at all the different platforms to see how, to make sure all of our show notes go through and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Shannon, I like how you're using Facebook because it alerts me when you guys are on, and I like watching live. Well, Shannon, thank you so much, and welcome to the Facebook Live feed. Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I've learned a lot with this whole thing, and I'm getting used to it. And I've had my camera sitting around, and I've wanted to do more stuff like this. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad that you all are getting some stuff out of it. Rich, Spotify. Okay, yeah, we've had a lot of people come in through Spotify. We were one of the podcasts that were kind of on the ground floor when they started opening up their platform to podcasts, and we've seen a lot of people coming from that platform. In fact, outside of Apple Podcasts, I think it's our the source for the second biggest portion of our listeners. So they're really doing a lot of good work over there in Spotify to develop their podcasting platform. So yeah, that's great. Shannon, it's tougher to be on your own without co-hosts, huh? You're doing great though. Yes, Shannon, it is. But thank you very much. I adore my co-hosts, and when we can get together, it's always a good time. So yeah, this is different. Like I've never been necessarily uncomfortable, but it's just weird when you can't like see faces. Like when I was working in church, there was no problem just getting up and talking and I don't know, like working the crowd, so to speak. But when you don't see faces, it's just I just have this lens in front of my face, and it's it's nerve-wracking. I guess it's also revealing on how much how much validation I need from actually seeing the people. So there's that. But yeah, it's such a different thing, and I know a lot of people are kind of zoomed out. I mean, a lot of people are looking at their laptops and their cameras and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a different dynamic. In fact, Alan was talking to us all last week, and he's doing an upcoming series at his church, and he asked us to film like a little snippet on just kind of our experience with something that we've learned. And I filmed that for him, and it took way longer than I thought it was going to be. Because like if you would have asked me hey, can you get up at this like banquet or at the service or whatever and just like, talk a little bit about your experience, it would have been no problem. But here I was sitting like this at this. That's part of the reason I have this angle, because I was already filming at this angle. And man, I filmed through it like 12 times. I was like, no, that's not right. It changed a couple times. And even then I wasn't super satisfied with the end product, but it's kind of an exercise in doing that. And I used to scoff a little bit at people on YouTube who do vlogs and stuff, especially the ones that aren't super good. But now, especially the ones that are really good, like it's a certain skill set to be able to just talk to a camera and still have some semblance of personality and not get super nervous and just distracted easily, because it's just you in a room with a camera alone. So yeah, there's that. Well, Rich and Shannon specifically, thank you so much for popping on and commenting in the comments. I really appreciate it. I think unless anyone, yeah, absolutely. It is definitely way harder than talking to live people, for sure. Absolutely. Um, well, I think we'll. All right, Shannon. Have fun at virtual church. I think that's kind of our cue as well. Yeah. So again, just a reminder: Tuesday, our next episode's coming out, and we're talking about our sources of truth, and then the following Monday, we'll have our continuing the conversation. And then the first Tuesday in June, we'll close out our truth series. And anytime you have a suggestion for episodes of the podcast in the future, you can always email us at podcast@irenicast.com. We really are genuinely always excited to hear from everyone. And if you're on a particular platform that allows reviews and stuff, feel free. Tell us how much you love the show, or even not. Like, we finally got our first somewhat negative review on Apple. But it's weird to say, but it almost wasn't like negative enough. Like, I was waiting for someone to bring the hellfire and brimstone. But anyway, we're super thankful for everyone that listens. Thank you for joining us, or joining me this morning for Sunday Mic Check. We'll catch you next week. I'm pretty sure Rajiv will be back next week. And then we'll be back also with our regular stuff. So everyone have a great day and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the week. And don't forget to check your podcast app on Sunday for our next episode. So thank you guys so much. Have a great Sunday. Take care.